But what is that voice in your head that says why it's not? Like, what's keeping you from that? Like, what is the thing that you hear sometimes? Like,
So my answer previously to that question was being free, basically, and like being authentic. And the thing that's holding me back from that is that I'm a judgmental bitch, like to myself.
And what does that sound like in your head? That's what I'm saying. Like, be that right now.
Oh, it's so mean.
I know, but that's what's going to be funny. And you're like, see, I'm working with that.
Okay. This is what my
yeah.
right.
Okay. And people are going to relate to this so much. Like, it just sounds ridiculous right now, but when people see the visual and the realness or the actual honesty about it, it makes it like original. It makes it like feel we're not forcing anything.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Sorry.
Because that's when it's not going to feel authentic. So I'm just being like, just be real in your lighthearted way right now, if you can, of the contrast to the answers that we talked about.
Okay. Got it.
You know, like for me, I was like, oh, I need to be on courageous people because I voiced my hand like, you're just a baby. You can't do that. You think you can like just change things like, you know, it's like, but you can be funny about it because you know it's like ironic to just say it. Yes. You know?
Okay. So really, this is a psyop. Billy is actually a therapist and running experimental therapy.
This is my prank right now.
This is experimental therapy.
My psychic
he's
prank.
Making us role play our inner demons. He's like, okay, that was cute, but like, let's get into it. Who are you really?
Mask off.
Yes.
And you can have fun with it if it's like the funniest part.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Let's get to the questions.
What is something that you'd want to share about that for part of you?
Like, get over yourself, kind of.
Like, is that what you say sometimes to yourself when you're like, stop, like, get over it kind of thing?
Get over yourself. Like,
I just like remind myself like you're not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, it's embarrassing. Like stop. Like, how could you care? Like, why do you like no one care? No one's watching you.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally no one thinks about you. Like you're not the star of like the world. Like it's not that deep.
Yeah. Also, don't be a little bitch. You're not a victim.
Mm-hmm.
Super fair. Sit up. Go for it.
Mm-hmm.
To act like the world is happening to you and you're just
For sure. Mm-hmm.
what am I gonna do?
I think it's embarrassing, like the switch of like looking at that version of yourself and it's like, ugh.
Yeah, that's the cringe.
Yeah, like real cringe is being like, yeah, like the being seen thing is so funny though, because it's like literally no one cares.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not that deep. Like you're not a famous person. Like you're not like, not that you're not worthy or anything like that, but it's like no one cares. Like it's not that deep.
Yeah.
And the people that you look up to and idolize are also just fucking people. Like,
yeah, no one's perfect.
Nobody's perfect, and embracing that we're all just like imperfect people in this world. Like, hopefully doing our best. Just lean into that. Like, have grace for other people that are also like perfectly imperfect and just trying to figure this thing called life out.
Totally. Because I always am like, and then when you look back on it, you're like, why was I focusing on that for so long? Like, such a waste almost.
Well, that's always the case is like, it's the anticipation of everything and like the mental, like for me, it's like, I call it like mental drama. Like I like, or mind drama is the term I've coined for my very endlessly moving mind. You know, it's like, I literally play out every single scenario and it's like, and then I go and do it and it's like it's like, oh wow, it was like, that was no big deal. It's like anytime I've done something challenging, it's like, that's what I work through with my procrastination problem. I'll be like laying in bed, like I'm dying. I can't get anything done. And it's like, you just sit down and finally start working on it or whatever it is. And it's like, dude, I have problems. Like, what is wrong with me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was a great cutaway moment. Yep.
I was just talking shit about the whole like victim mentality, but I do often catch myself in like the poor me, I can't do anything about this situation. Like when sad little emo kid. Just, this is what life is going to be for you. Get the fuck used to it, kind of thing. And that's not truly what I believe, though.
It's just everything is just in your mind. Once you really realize everything's in your mind, and like I actually really enjoyed the trip that I took because I was like around no spiritual like people or people who are into like that kind of stuff. And it was just like a reminder that like, and not to say that they were like simple or anything, but it's like, I feel like I'm around people who are always having these really intense conversations about like, you know, how to like elevate, you know, and the spiritual community is like people like aren't normal. They like forget to be simple, I think, because it's so wrapped up in like expanding and how to get better and change and like all that. But being around people who are just like really normal was so, it was like comical. Cause I'm like, I'm so like, it's like you look at cause you're able to go outside of yourself and you're just to realize like, there's so much wisdom in that and simplicity of like, it's not that deep. Just like get up and do it. Like literally get up and go to your job. Like everything that you have an emotional reaction about is 90% of the time in your control. Like it's all about your perception. Like it's, and for me is like, I think I am so, my mom was like reminding me on this trip, I'm so nitpicky. And it's like, even in the way I'm like, can you take a picture of me and my niece? And it's like, I'm like, no, mom, you didn't do it right. And it's like, that's that shit. Like, that's that perfectionist stuff. And it's like, just be in the moment and enjoy, like, who cares? But it's like, you realize, I don't know, just like so much of my negative perception of things is because of that like nitpicky perfectionist thing. And so it's like, even though I talk about, it's like, oh, I've come so far. It's like, it's still not, you know, like it's still, that is the thing that's holding me back 100%. Like I would say the number one thing.
Yeah.
It's neurotic. It's so neurotic. Like Dana constantly reminds me all the time. It's like, Christina, like, do you even realize what you've done in the last like year? It's like, I've done a lot. Like there's like a lot of good things. And it's like, I'm so like future focused and it's like, it's not there yet. It's like, I'm not going to, you know, I'm not, you know, at this level of success, but it's like really, or, you know, happiness or whatever the thing is. But then you just go back and it's like, it's just me being neurotic, basically.
Give yourself some credit.
Well, yeah, it's literally, it's like not, again, it's not that deep.
Not that deep.
It's really not.
Totally. That should be a TV show, actually. I thought of another funny name for a show with Swink and Josh. It was something like, sorry, I went too deep too fast.
Yeah.
We're talking about aliens, of course. That's so funny. Yeah. The thing I think that's interesting about doing this with this concept is because I think so many people want to talk about, you know, success or where they're at and how to do this and that and be more like educational. But I think it's good to just be like present and talk about that and talk about like, okay, this is what actually is going on inside of you, and not like be afraid to talk about, you know, there's things I have to work on, and like then you see it around you and how do you deal with that? I think that's more helpful to people than trying to be like, just do these 5 steps and do this.
Because,
you know?
Well, because the thing is that creates a level of black and white thinking. And like, that is also something as a recovering perfectionist or whatever I want to say is that like, I always saw everything as right and wrong, like one way or the other, like there's no in between. And that's just like, it is not reality. Life is the gray area. It's like all of these in between awkward moments of like you working through your inner dramas and like all your bullshit. And then eventually, hopefully stumbling your way to like whatever you deem successful. That's my latest realization.
I just keep coming back to like the idea of Sonder, or that like everybody is going through something. The person you're driving next to on the highway, that coworker in a meeting that just makes you want to cringe, or just anybody in your life, you're also going through life at the same time. And
it's not, you're really like, yes, you're the star in your own reality, but like having the understanding that like, that's every single person is also feeling that way as well. Yeah. And like, they're, you know, they're really like in their own universe. That's kind of, I think it's, and whatever you're going through in your universe is likely some similarity into someone else's.
Well, there's, the frequencies of everybody around us and what we can tap into. And if you want to go in too deep too quick, but like we are all just different manifestations of the universe, different eyes seeing the same thing. And when you can do that, when you can put yourself in the perspective of that person who's triggering you, or not even, it doesn't have to be deep, like it, literally just the cashier or somebody next to you. Like if you can put yourself in that perspective and have that awareness and that realness in the present moment, like just keep it simple.
Yeah. No, totally. And I love how we can like have these talks together and stuff. It's not like an unnatural thing. I thought like this flowed really well.
Yeah.
Even though I have like zero idea what we're going to talk about or do. And like, yeah, I just want to say like, appreciate your time. And I love like talking to you too. I think you both are like super talented and creative and have like so many badass things that you guys are going to do. And yeah, I love being a part of it. And I think we should end on a thing that just popped in my head. I was say to be a little funny because you guys obviously dress the part. What's something you would tell that part of you that is so dramatic most of the time? You know, like what's the drama that you often
You're
hear?
embarrassing. Stop, please. Is that okay to say that? Oh my God. It's literally the first thought is like, please.
Yeah.
Can you just like stop being such a crybaby Pisces for a moment? Can you just
That's fair.
like get over it? Get over it.
Totally. I think I have two personalities. I have like, just do it. You're a freaking Leo, you know? And the other one's like, I don't want to.
Yes, totally.
Someone's like, I don't know which one to pick, you know? And then that's where I go,
level.
yeah. And it's always the extremes. Like one's like, go
Oh,
on,
100%.
let's fucking do it. You know, you can do whatever. And the other one's literally like, what's the point? Like,
Right.
And I'm like, But that's where I, what you say, fluctuate most of the time.
Yes.
And my thing is that's why when I meditate, it's just like, oh, none of that is real. And I just make that one focus instead.
But maybe aspects of both, like integrated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think everyone has like their paradigm shift of like personality.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think that's why when people work like a 9-to-5 job, there's so many, like if they go fucking wild on the weekends because they like need to get their craziness out or whatever. But it's like, no, I'd rather be individual.
I want to ask Tina specifically what Tina would say that my dichotomy is.
Oh God, that's kind of a on the spot question. Your dichotomy of like your personalities, because you said yours is like full send, fucking do it, and then the other one's like, I'm not doing that.
It's almost like an angel and a devil.
Yeah.
She's just seen me
I would say yours is equally polarizing and also one. Yeah, I mean, like one, like a Pisces, like the crying Pisces.
Yeah.
That's like, you know, like.
I definitely see that, and the other one's like screamo.
The other,
like,
exactly.
in your face.
The other one's like, I will light this building on fire. Like it's like extreme.
And then look all like innocent at the same time.
Yes, totally.
And scream.
Yes, totally. I feel like I'm like always all over the place. So I don't know if I have like those extremes anymore. Cause I feel like I've lived in those extremes so for like longer periods of times where I was like, you know, in college was like really crazy party. I was like, fuck the rules. But because I like grew up as like a psycho perfectionist, straight A's, varsity sports, like, so it was like I swung. And then finally after going in the other end, you see you can't be all the way on that end of like not giving a fuck. And then somewhere now finding that in between where it's like, there's days where I'm like, oh yeah, I need to go and do something insane because I need to get it out. And I need to that's how I got this piercing. I was like, this is the most stable my life has been and I'm fucking bored and I need to do something and I've wanted this forever. And I just like came to work the next day and was like, yeah, I got a septum piercing yesterday. And they're like, why? I'm like, I needed to feel something. They're like, oh, like there was no romance about it. I was like, I needed it. Exactly.
And it was a Sunday.
Yes. Totally. But thank you so much for having us. This is so cool. I'm glad to be your guinea pig and like kick off this amazing podcast, and hopefully back on again soon.
And just to end it, just say where you're at right now. And if there's anything that you're working on that you'd like to share.
I'm Shelby. You can find me on Instagram at Shelby, with Shelby is spelled SHELBEE. I'm sure Billy can just edit that part out and put it in the notes. But I do holistic nutrition, and yeah, I'm just passionate about helping people kind of find their flow in life, and speaking with them, learning more about them to see what they're struggling with and how we can simplify that into daily habits and actions to really make a big impact over time.
As you probably already know, that I'm Christina, and you can find me on Instagram at Christina H. Shay, SHAY. I'm an all things marketing person, and my business, Luceo, is specifically works with course creators and people who are dedicating their passion and their time to helping other people, essentially. So mental wellness people like Shelby, I love helping create systems and basically help them launch their business in a really good way. But that's all about me.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Yay! Slay.